Hello and welcome to this talk, the last in our series on abandoned places. This has been organised by the Commonwealth Heritage Forum, a charitable organisation that seeks to put professionals in touch across the Commonwealth and share knowledge about the conservation of important historic places across the Commonwealth. As you may have noticed, this talk is being recorded. Um, we ask you, if possible, to keep muted and cameras off just to help people who may not have such good internet connection. Um, there will be the opportunity at the end for questions. You can either put your question in the chat as we go along through the talk, or just put up your hand at the end when I invite questions. So I am very excited about this talk. I am delighted to introduce you to Saba Sami, who is a very experienced conservation and heritage consultant. Um, She's also a registered architect and member of ICOMOS. She trained at the National College of Arts in Lahore and also has a master's from the University of York in the UK. She has worked on many amazing sites, including various World Heritage sites such as Lahore Fort and Shalimar Gardens. She's also worked as an academic, lecturing, and uh, has served as an associate professor of architecture at NCA, and associate professor at ComSat's University of Information Technology in Islamabad. So we are absolutely thrilled that Saba has agreed to contribute a talk to this lecture series on the abandoned Sheikhupura fort on the edge of Lahore. So Saba, if you would like to now share your screen, and we can start the talk.
Wonderful. Hello, everybody. Thank you so very much for this opportunity. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Oh, wonderful. I'll switch on my laser pointer as well. Today, I will be talking about the Sheikhupura Fort, which was a Mughal royal Haveli and a hunting palace of the royals till the British period when it was converted into prison grounds. Sheikhupura Fort is located in Pakistan. Just to give you a context of where this fort is, and it is located in the province of Punjab and in district Sheikhupura. The city of Sheikhupura is named after Emperor Jahangir, and his pet name was Sheikhu. So when Emperor Akbar, his father, decided on this site, he named it Sheikhu upon the nickname of his son Salim, Prince Sheikh Salim, which in the future became Emperor Jahangir. So Sheikhupura became very dear to Jahangir, and frequented this place as his hunting grounds. Sheikhupura it's very close to Lahore, only in the vicinity, only across the river Ravi. You can see the river Ravi over here. On this part is Lahore, and on the other part is the Sheikhupura district. It has two major monuments contributing to the Mughal era. One is the Sheikhupura Fort, and the other one is Hiran Minar. Sheikhupura Fort and Hiran Minar are connected together through a very interesting oral history regarding Prince Salim. When Emperor Jahangir was young, he used to hunt deers over here. This forest, the Sheikhupura forest, was famous for the black buck antelopes, and Prince Salim used to hunt those deers. And one of the deers became very fierce. And one day he met this amazingly beautiful antelope, was very fierce, and they put up a very great fight. And so Prince Salim didn't wanted to hunt him and made him his pet. And the head of his antelope group. And when he died, when the antelope died, uh, Prince Salim, in his memory, created this Hiran Minar area. And this is basically the Minar. And then later he made a Baradari, a pavilion, in the center of a huge man-made water pond in as a memorial to his favorite black buck antelope. Lots of people visit this place, but coming to so sorry. This is Jahangir as going on a hunt, and this is his favorite black buck antelope, who he named Mans Raj. So lots of people know about Hiran Minar and they visit Hiran Minar very often, as it's a beautiful landscape site with water bodies and green areas around it and a forest at the back of it. But not many people know about Sheikhupura Fort. Now, Sheikhupura Fort was designed by Jahangir as a hunting lodge, because when he used to travel from Lahore to Sheikhupura Fort and then into several hunting parties from this fort. So the fort during Jahangir's reign was very well populated, visited, frequented by the hunting parties. There are amazingly three-story, four-story high buildings of the Mughal era over there, present over there, in much dilapidated conditions. And this is the main entrance of the fort. But through time, while the Mughals declined, the Sikh came, they had very little contributions in this fort until Maharani Nikia, the smallest wife of Maharaja Ranjit Singh. She loved this area, this place, and she started building lots of palaces over here. But it was during the British rule that this fort was converted into a prison, which incarcerated Rani Jinda, Maharani Jinda, the mother of the last emperor, Dilip Singh. So this is the plan of Sheikhupura Fort. And this has been documented by the Heritage Foundation Pakistan, when Yasmin Lari made an effort to conserve this site under the Ambassadors Fund, the U.S. Ambassadors Fund. And it was then the entire fort was documented for the first time after independence, after 1947. There are lots and lots of parts of this fort which are amazing and completely deteriorating right now. Some of them have fallen down. This is the main entrance part of the fort, where the original Mughal gateway gives way to lots and lots of other chambers, a green Bauli entrance, and then the main entrance, which the roof of which has been collapsed 15 years ago when I went there. The entire passage and the passage above over here, these were the British barracks and prison cells being constructed during the British rule. This building is the most the most oldest building in the fort, and it is contributed to Noor Jahan, Empress Noor Jahan, the favorite wife of Emperor Jahangir, and it still has an intact ground floor and a basement, which is full of frescoes and carvings of early Jahangiri era, which are very, very rare to find. And unfortunately, it is unapproachable because of the collapse of this building and how it is tilting due to the settlement of the foundations. The most massive building still to be survived is the palace of Maharani Nikia, the smallest, the youngest wife of Ranjit Singh, Maharaja Ranjit Singh. Um, it is bare bricked, but with beautiful detailings. The roofs of certain rooms have been collapsed internally, and lots of wooden beams have been stolen or smuggled out of the fort very recently. This group of building is very interesting. The C05 building is the building behind this. This is the smallest building, and C01 is the structure in the front of the fort. So these two structures are combined together, but unfortunately, the C05 building can only be approached by this small window from the roof part. So I actually at that time could manage to climb this smaller window to approach this beautiful courtyard at the rooftop and witness amazing woodwork, um, pillars, ceiling, which is called Tarsim Bandi. It is a very beautiful art, Mughal art, in which wooden pieces are joined together without any nails in a joinery similar to a jigsaw puzzle, and then the entire ceiling is lifted up and put on the ceiling as a decoration. And there are lots of mirrors in it and lots of fresco drawings. But the walls are fully covered in frescoes depicting the tree of life and lots of geometrical patterns on dado level. The entire rooms, all the rooms are filled with this magnificent decorations, which cannot be approached and have not been approached for 75 years now, since 1947. The most interesting part in this area, which is on the rooftop, is this frieze in two rooms. The entire frieze is illustrated with birds, as if illustrating the Conference of the Birds manuscript, in which every single flight of the bird and how they fight, how they mate, how they call out, different species of the bird, different postures of the bird on land. Everything is being depicted and meticulously documented in the upper roofs of this building. Uh, the front building has got two main jharokas, which are also known as the throne rooms. For this one is for Maharani Nikhiya, and the larger one was for Maharani Jind Kaur, who was the mother of Dilip Singh and got arrested in this fort. Uh, when we approach the C01 building from this door, we see an amazing ensemble of rooms, wooden balconies, charokas, and amazingly preserved frescoes of Hindu mythology, mainly from Ramayana, and depicting Krishna and how Krishna used to take his parents around for pilgrimage, and different architectural buildings being depicted in these frescoes. Then you see lots of sipais, the British soldiers who were guarding this fort, being depicted in the frescoes. corner frescoes, a black buck antelope being celebrated in the gardens of the fort. And over here, the princess or the Mughal or the Sikh princess, we haven't decoded it yet, uh, saying goodbye to the hunting party. And again, a British sepoy on guard at the fort. And oh, yes. Lots of mythological Hindu mythology pictures, stories depicting Krishna and his princesses, and lots of bird species are also documented in this fort. So, and none of this has been studied till date, and neither decoded or the time of all of this have not been determined yet. But in these two buildings, C01 and C05, it is said that lots of the ground floor frescoes belong to the Sikh era. Of the finest example during the Sikh era, whereas the tilted building is all about the Mughal architecture, and the roof, which I showed you, all the geometrical patterns and everything, is contributed to the Mughal era. So thank you so very much. I hope I was not too fast. We can still go through all the slides, and that's it.
Well, thank you, Saba, very much. It was absolutely fascinating. My
Thank
mind
you.
is just blown by the level of detail and the beauty and the different from the different eras in the building. It's really, really interesting. Um, don't think there are any questions in the chat at the moment. Does anybody in the audience have a question?
Uh, This fort is still not discovered yet. And it's been like since 1947. The last resident was Maharani Jinnah. And that was in 1900s, only early 1900s. And since then, even the British didn't use it for prison. And I think one of the views is that very meticulously, Sheikhupura Fort was tried to be um, rubbed off or eliminated from the memory of lots of people, because it was not, because they didn't wanted the fort to be frequented by the public, because I cannot imagine Hiran Minar very close to the fort being visited by so many people, and nobody knows about Sheikhupura Fort.
We do have a question from Sarah. Such beautiful frescoes. Is there a plan for any work to consolidate the site and encourage people to appreciate it?
No, Sarah, hello, how are you? No, Sarah, not till date. US Ambassador Fund did try to did try to start an award, whoever volunteers to restore this fort, but nobody came forth. The Punjab Department of Archaeology doesn't have the expertise, and everybody is scared because of the level of deterioration happened in the buildings. But off and on, they try to smoke out the bats, clean the place, but that really doesn't help in the long run. We all know about that, yes.
Sarah, do you want to follow up with anything there?
You just mentioned the bats there. Are they considered to be a problem because of the mess they create
Building.
or anything like
Yeah,
that? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because the basement of the fabric palace, the basement is full of bats,
Hmm.
and they're really harming the foundations of that palace. Yes.
That's an interesting juxtaposition because here we have bats, but they're protected, so it's yes, there's a push and pull between does the sort of nature win out versus does conservation win out? Um, but perhaps
Yeah.
perhaps you're having to be a little bit more robust um, in this case because they are doing damage.
Yeah, no, but we are not supposed to kill them. We That is why the department only smokes them out.
Okay,
So yeah, but yeah,
they come
eventually
back again.
they come back again. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
So you're welcome.
And we have another question from Samia. These paintings are very similar to some of the paintings at Lahore Fort. Question.
Yes, yes, they are. If you observe the earlier paintings, especially the where the flora and the fauna has been concerned, the figurative paintings are you don't see that much of the figurative paintings, frescoes in Lahore Fort. But there are certain areas in Lahore Fort, like the Kala Burj, which Chrome Lahore is investigating right now. You do find figurative frescoes, and yes, they do resemble a lot with the Sheikhupura fort. Again, part of Lahore fort was also developed during Emperor Akbar and Emperor Jahangir's time period, the same time period when Sheikhupura fort was established, commissioned by Emperor Jahangir. So yes, but lots of the paintings, lots of frescoes on the ground floor. The theme of it is more of Hindu and Sikh mythology rather than Mughal mythology. So that is why it's been attributed to the Sikh period more than the Mughal period. I hope I answered your question.
Samia, do you want to ask anything further?
Oh, Samya. Samya is one of the members of Chrome Lahore. And
Ah,
she's been investigating and working on the tomb of Noor Jahan, the tomb of Anarkali, said to be one of the mistresses and a great love of Emperor Jahangir again.
well, fascinating. So very much a link with this building.
Yeah, yeah, very much so.
Does anybody else have a question? Um, Victoria has asked if you could tell us a bit more about Crom Lahore and the work that you do, and whether there's any scope for Crom Lahore to work on Sheikhupura.
We would love to. First of all, let me introduce you to Chrome Lahore. Chrome Lahore is a collective of researchers on Mughal Lahore. And looking at all of the heritage Lahore and Sheikhupura and Shahdara has around the cities around Lahore have, we collected, we made this collection, we made this collective in an effort to give a new perspective to how to save our heritage. So there are lots of big organizations working on conservation and everything, and in those organizations, very few people are qualified as conservators. And so Chrome Lahore is made up of artists, miniature painters, fresco painters, architects, and conservators. And what we decided to do was to train those people who would eventually be working on these buildings. So we wanted to create a pool, an informed pool of experts who would do a good job in conserving all of these sites in a much aware manner, in a much in a much artistic manner with the correct knowledge of how to conserve it. And I think Commonwealth Heritage Forum has really helped us in and trusted us in awarding us our first project of skill development trainings, which we are doing in Wazir Khan Mosque and in the picture wall of Lahore Fort. And that is how through Chrome Lahore, we would like to promote all such sites. So when I was given this option of discussing abandoned buildings near Lahore, I was thrilled to promote Sheikhupura Fort as one of the sites because Chrome Lahore would absolutely love to research and conserve this site in the near future. It is also very interesting and encouraging to learn that Aga Khan Foundation, Cultural Services Pakistan, is also very interested in conserving this site, and they have submitted a number of proposals for the conservation of this site. But still, no work has begun.
And who is responsible for the site at the moment? Is
The Punjab Department of Archaeology, which I know for the past 25 years, is trying to equip themselves with expertise. And I don't think so that they would be able to do that. One or two international organizations would be helping or assisting in the conservation of this fort. Yeah.
MC has asked, would the Sikh community help, or is the fact it's in Pakistan and most Sikhs are in India be a restriction? I was thinking of the two Sikh Maharanis living there.
That is a very valid question. Punjabi Sikhs, the population of Punjabi Sikhs are very much powerful in Punjab, and I did work on lots of gurdwaras, the Sikh religious sites of Rori Sahib and Sacha Sauda Sahib, and then one of my colleagues also worked in the Gurdwara of Rohtas Fort. And so lots of gurdwaras are getting attention and getting the status of protected monuments in Punjab. Yes, uh, but I think the Sikh community of the Pakistani part of Punjab is aware of this fort and do have a lot of stakes. But I don't think so that they've been approached. But a very valid point. I think we can try that approach as well. Thank you.
Would anybody else like to make any observations or ask any questions? Um, Saba, I was wondering if you could just elaborate a little bit more on whether any sort of research has been done historically or what the historic sources are beyond the building itself that researchers might use in the future to understand this building.
No, no, the only book we've found up till now, and I've opened it throughout this, is The Historic Towns of Punjab. And this was written in the 1990s. That's the latest resource we have, which actually mentions the Sheikhupura fort. Other publications and resource material only mentions the city of Sheikhupura and Hiran Minar. It's kind of like sometimes I have this feeling that Sheikhupura fort has been deliberately wiped out of memory. So I don't know whether it's possible or not because the structure is humongous and
Mm.
it's very rich in its fresco and wood carvings. And the archaeological no Samya, the Archaeological Survey of India mentions Sheikhupura Fort in only two lines and then shifts to Hiran Minar. But in the archival documents, in the memoirs of Jahangir, he only mentions Hiran Minar, the Baradari, and a palace for as the hunting lodges within this area. So the palace is taken to be as Sheikhupura Fort.
It seems extraordinary that such an amazing building seems to have, as you say, left so little footprint in literature and historical sources.
Yeah, absolutely. And
And
it's,
there's no, sorry, carry on.
sorry. No, please do carry on.
I was just going to ask, and there's nothing sort of in the British sources from when it was used as a prison and the barracks.
That I have not yet seen, but I've seen lots of archival documents referring to the city of Sheikhupura and its prison cells. And they only talk about the prison cells of Sheikhupura, and nobody has yet connected it with the Sheikhupura fort. The fort, the word, the fort itself is never gets mentioned. So we need to really link the pieces together because the building is being mentioned in the typology not as a fort, but sometimes as a palace, as a hunting lodge, or as a prison.
Hmm, very fascinating. So definitely one to explore. I mean, I'm sort of trying to think of some of the places where you might find some information, but it would be yes, it's just crying out for research and for conservation as well before
Yeah.
the amazing wooden ceilings that you were showing us and the frescoes and so on disappear. Um, they're really, really stunning.
It
Um,
is.
is there anything else that you'd like to talk about? Any other aspect of the fort that you'd like to talk about?
I would like to request everybody over here that they should like spread the awareness of Sheikhupura Fort as strongly as lots of people are trying to hide it. And Chrome Lahore is very much willing to collaborate in any conservation project or recommendation or an approach which can help Sheikhupura Fort get protected and at least stabilized for the next generation, at least.
Well, I wish you every success with that. It certainly is a
Yeah.
building that deserves to be looked after. Um, Last chance for anybody in the audience to ask any questions or make any observations or suggestions as to where information might be found or anything like that. Victoria said yes, absolutely crying out for further research, possibly a useful exercise to cross-reference with UK history. Um,
Absolutely. The Heritage Foundation Pakistan they have created very detailed folios of the architectural drawings, a basement, the collapsing of the structures, and the timeline of different buildings. So the base work has been already done, whereas the frescoes have not been documented. The building crafts of Sheikhupura Fort have not been documented fully, but it's this fort is in desperate need of occupiers or inhabitors or protectors, because I think that the building needs to be open for visitors for it to survive.
Yes, yes, absolutely. MC's just suggested would Army Records or HEICS have records? Individual army regiments each have their own records, magazines, letters, etc. And museums, they might have something from being stationed there in the Raj period, the British Army records.
Yeah, that's a good idea, although very difficult to obtain in Pakistan. I would
Hmm.
definitely look into it. That's a good recommendation.
And when you said about the Archaeological Survey of India only mentioning it in two lines, is that the Historic Archaeological Survey annual reports?
Yes, that is the ASI Archaeological Survey of India before 1947. So
Mhm.
all of the records were divided and split into equals upon independence. And so sometimes we find a particular record to be existing in India and not in Pakistan. So we need to see what exists in Pakistan, and then we can request across the border for other documents. Yes.
I know there are also copies in the UK of all the Archaeological Survey of India
Yeah.
reports.
Yeah.
Uh, MC said army museums are online. I've worked in one in Glasgow and they had things like photos, tiger shooting licenses, and documents from being stationed all over India before 1948. They will help you by email, and many have their own archivists. So that might be something to pursue.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yes. Any help is good.
Well, thank you again for making the time. I appreciate it's quite late with you. But thank you very much for taking the time to prepare and deliver this
Thank
talk.
you.
I've found it eye-opening to see this abandoned fort and the beauty that still survives there. And I do hope that it's possible to document and conserve it. And as you say,
Thank
open
you
it
so
up
much.
to visitors. Thank you to everybody who's joined
Thank
us. All the talks in this series will be made available on our website together with all the talks from previous series. So I do commend those to you. There are so many very interesting talks about different aspects of Commonwealth heritage from across the world. And if you'd like to find out more about the Commonwealth Heritage Forum, Saba mentioned the heritage training skills opportunities that we can fund, then do have a look at our website and get in touch with the team. Thank you very much indeed, Saba, and thank you to everybody who's joined.
you so very much. It was a pleasure to represent Sheikhupura Fort.